Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. Online Journal Day 77, a few issues I have. So my therapist and I have been exploring emotional triggers. This is important because apparently I've become more excitable about topics since Amy came back into the picture. And we're exploring a concept that I'm trying to wrap my head around. She asked me if I resented not being listened to. I was surprised by the question, as I thought it came out of the blue, but she was very adamant that she was seeing a pattern. She explained that she noticed I got really animated and excitable whenever discussing times or events I wasn't listened to. Especially when things didn't turn out well. I won't get into it, but I will say there is this huge habit among Amy, generally everyone, but Amy is the prime offender, of admitting I have a point, or that I've got more experience or have thought something through better, and then them doing it another way anyway. Then of course, things don't go right, and people come crying to me to fix it. But the next time there's a problem or a decision, everyone forgets the previous times I was right or knew what to do. They don't care if something is the right way, they want to do it their way. Which I wouldn't care about if it didn't personally affect me or I was going to be asked to clean the mess made. A major example is when Amy signed for her mother's new car. Her mother is a sweet woman, but has a habit of getting bored and buying new things. She already had a perfectly working car. She wanted a new one, but her credit wasn't all that great. She asked if Amy would co-sign for her this time. She wasn't done paying off the old car and was planning on letting it go. I initially said no, emphatically. This is a stupid idea. No good can come from it. But I got browbeaten and whined too, so, since if this did happen I would be on the hook for the car, inevitably, I made some rules. It had to be something like a Honda or a Nissan. Something I would want later and something that keeps its value. Honda Civics tend to do that. A lot of American cars, not so much. I set a price limit and I also said that I would need to approve of any car they got. Given that I would most likely end up with the burden of paying for this thing. So her mother said she wouldn't get the car. She didn't appreciate all of the stipulations. She also didn't want those kinds of cars. I think she wanted a Cadillac, which was ridiculous and ridiculously priced. Amy went down there one day, and came back and I found out her mom got a new car. Amy didn't even co-sign. Turns out, Amy just signed for it. And not just any car, a Lexus. An older model, and is 250. This thing was over 20,000. I was of course pissed, but whatever. Then of course, it turns out that it would hurt her credit too bad to let go of the car she had and for some reason couldn't trade it in toward the new car or refinance. I'm not sure, I've only bought one car and none of that crap was involved in it. Either way, guess who ended up having to fit the bill? This guy. Cause if I didn't, Amy's credit would have tanked. Given our tight finances, that would not have worked. This is an example, there are literally thousands of others. From very little stuff to, hey, let's not eat there, you didn't have a good experience last time and they are very experienced, to, I liked the other outfit you wore, why are you changing? Of course she was changing because other people, skinnier girls were wearing something else, and she wanted to match them. I remember saying, I liked the other outfit and it's more comfortable for you. Because I really hated the cut jeans all the girls were wearing, I hated them, I didn't understand that fashion and I thought my wife looked stunning before. She of course doesn't listen, spends the entire night complaining about not being comfortable. Then acts like it was the worst evening of her life. Now I know about her weight thing, so I get it, but back then I just couldn't figure out why no one listened to me or my well thought out and intelligent reasoning. I ended up talking to Amy about this. I talked to my sister and my mom about it too. I talked to my brother and I began to make a list of big events and situations where I was just ignored. Turns out, not only does this happen with everybody, a lot. But, I ended up fixing almost all of those situations after the fact, or had a hand in trying to get it right. My mother says that I'm a know-it-all, and though I'm usually right, people like to do things their own way. My dad says that people don't like folks who are right a lot, it makes them feel stupid. So if you're right a lot, people start internalizing the right thing as your thing, and they don't always want to do things your way, even if that is the right way. Amy says sometimes she resents me, thinks I don't trust her judgment, and sometimes I talk to her like she is a child. Like she doesn't know what she's doing. Says I explain things to her, and sometimes she just wants to do things her way to prove that she doesn't need me to handle everything. I desperately wanted to ask how that's worked out for her over the years, but thought better of it. Instead I asked what she expects me to do when she and other people are either wrong or misguided. She tells me that sometimes I need to let people see for themselves. I argue that in my experience doing it that way makes things worse, practically. As people will drive that bad idea deeper and deeper into the ground before their pride lets up and they eventually ask me to fix it, but by then it's no longer a little issue. I asked what I'm supposed to do, and no one can tell me. People are just people. I'm thinking about this a lot, as I'm actually more pissed about this than I ever thought I would be. Putting it all into frame, this is actually something that happens with a great bit of frequency all over my life. Like, I'm not trying to be right. I'm not better than anybody else. Other folks just don't think about the whole picture sometimes, and I do. I can't not. So what I see, dangers, pitfalls, issues, somehow they don't see. When I explain it to them, they nod their head and say, "Oh, I see, that makes sense why you think that." But still do the opposite. It's like warning someone that if the train comes at 4:30, it's a great idea if they aren't on the tracks at 4:30. They ask why, always incredulously, and you have to explain to them that trains are fast, that trains hurt and kill if they hit you, and that there are other places to sit other than a train's tracks. All of this is agreed upon. Then at 4:40 you get a call being told that they got hit by a train. They were in the car too. They had your switch in the car, it's totaled. They're in the hospital. The car was yours, in your name. And they are now needed help with medical bills, rehab, getting along around the house during rehab. And there's an expectation that you help with all of this aftermath, cause they didn't want to listen to you in the first place. If I'm being perfectly honest, that shit enrages me. I didn't know how much till now. And now that I realize that, I wonder if I've been giving off microaggressions and shit when it happens. Cause apparently everyone knows I don't like not being listened to, everyone knows I'm apparently right a lot, but no one knows why they don't listen to me, other than the priceless gem that, well, he can't be right all the time. I promise you I'm not. You're just wrong a lot. And it's frustrating. Maybe you don't need to offer your take on something if you know you won't be listened to. They'd only have themselves to blame. I've learned that the only way anyone learns is if they have to live with the consequences of their choices. I used to help, offer advice. Of course when they didn't listen and it blew up, I helped them with the aftermath. The frustration of that is maddening. I had to take a step back, which is hard. I might still give advice, but what they do with it is up to them. If they don't listen and it goes wrong, I let them clean it up. People do not learn from wins, they learn from losses. Covering for them only teaches them they will always have a way out. In the end it is kinder to do nothing than cover for them. That way they learn to stand on their own. That is my 2 cents, take it or leave it. Just make sure to do what is best for you. I think everyone resents not being listened to, especially those with fixer traits who feel obligated to fix it afterwards. A better pursuit would be how to get them to listen to you more. The whole how to win friends and influence people thing. I'm in the same boat, now only say something if it really is going to give me hassle. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.